Welcome to Off the Page. I am Will Cain, and I'm with Ramesh Ponnuru. Ramesh, President Barack Obama totally messed up my editing schedule. Our videos projecting who the Supreme Court nominee might be are totally worthless now because today he nominated Solicitor General Elena Kagan to the seat. So now we got to redo this.
One more strike against this president.
That's right. Hey, let me read you something from Jeffrey Rosen writing on the New Republic this morning, okay?
All right.
He said, Elena Kagan is likely to be more effective in winning over Anthony Kennedy than Justice Stevens ever was. And as we've talked about, I think this happens to be the most important question. Will Kagan be influential with the court's swing vote? Anthony Kennedy. Will this effectively be two votes, two liberal Obama living constitutionalist votes? What do you think?
Well, I hope that wasn't the criterion by which she was picked, because it's an awfully short-sighted one. This is an appointment that, assuming she's confirmed, she could very well have this position for decades. Who knows how long Justice Kennedy is still going to be on the bench? We're talking about a few years of influence on him versus decades on the court. That said, I suppose the same qualities that make her likely to influence Kennedy might make her likely to influence other people. I think she is, by all accounts, an intelligent and persuasive advocate.
Is she that consensus builder, Ramesh, and not the liberal firebrand then?
Well, I don't see any reason to believe that she is anything but a strong liberal ideologue, but she may be one who can build a coalition, help get those 5 votes on the Supreme Court.
I don't know that everybody on the left shares your certainty. Look, okay, Bush's Supreme Court nominee, Harriet Miers, was done in and rejected by conservatives, not liberal, because there was not enough of a feeling that she was going to be reliably originalist, reliably conservative. And there seem to be some on the left that are already a little worried that Kagan won't be the reliable liberal firebrand that they want. Do you think there's any chance that this could turn into a Harriet Miers situation where the liberals come out and reject Kagan?
Well, in the case of Miers, it was both the concern of conservatives that she might not be a reliable ally on the court and concerns about her qualifications and resume. In this case, the concern that she's a stealth nominee who doesn't have judicial experience is there, but there doesn't seem to be quite as much concern about her resume. So that prong of the attack, I think, is not going to be as sharp as last time. I do think that certainly over the course of today, you've seen the liberals try to sort of figure out where they're going to stand on this issue. I think there's a fundamental asymmetry, though, that is going to lead liberals in the end to swallow their doubts and support her, which is that the liberalism is so strong at the elite levels of our legal culture that it has this powerful gravitational pull towards people without strong convictions. And there's much more, I think, of a likelihood that somebody who is appointed by the Republicans moves left than that somebody who's appointed by the Democrats moves right.
Okay, so you and I have talked about this, the fact that there have been some Supreme Court nominees who have surprised their presidential appointers as to the way they adjudicated, rejected somewhat of the ideological expectation. Unfortunately, this seems to have happened much more to Republican nominees. Ford nominated Stevens, Bush nominated Souter, and unfortunately, again, we could go on and on. So you don't think this appointment, Kagan, will surprise Obama?
I don't think so. I think that the last time a Democratic appointee became at all heterodox was Byron White, Kennedy appointee, and that had as much to do with changes in the Democratic Party. Its increased embrace of social liberalism implemented through the courts, as it did with any change in White. Right now we are at the same stage as we were with Sotomayor's nomination. You had some people saying, well, Sotomayor's okay on the business issues, and maybe she's even a step to the right of Souter. You're having the same thing with Kagan, with executive power, with respect to Justice Stevens. I think in the end, though, people are going to realize look, she is a traditional judicial liberal.
In the end, you think Kagan is going to be a traditional liberal. No surprises. Let me just read you 2 quotes that caught me from Monday's New York Times. Okay, this is Kagan on judicial activism. Courts should not take the lead in creating a more just society. Here she is on constitutional theory. The Constitution generally imposes limitations on government rather than establishes affirmative rights, and thus might be thought of as a libertarian slant. I fully accept this traditional understanding. These are Elena Kagan's quotes. So
right.
You're telling me I'm being way too hopeful, though.
Yes, I think so. Look, if you looked at if you took quotations from Sotomayor during her confirmation hearings, you would expect her to be John Roberts in drag. And the fact is, she has been a reliable, totally predictable liberal bloc voter on the Supreme Court. Now, those comments are things that politic liberals can say, and indeed, they're things that liberals could even believe, right? I mean, a liberal could say, oh, well, I don't think the courts should take the lead in making social change, but if we can play a judicial role in making social change, and the text and history of the Constitution say we shouldn't, we could still do that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Why would they say it then? Look, the Democrats controlled the Senate during Sotomayor's hearings. They control it now. They could get anybody appointed they want. So why would a liberal a nominee try to sound like an originalist? Why would they feel the need to sound like that? And you're saying because they actually might believe it?
Well, that's in part, but the other reason is that I think conservatives are basically holding the winning hand in terms of the public political argument. The public does not want liberal activism on the bench. Liberals are on the defensive on these issues. That's a source of great frustration to a lot of liberals, but I think that's the reason why you have so many of these liberal nominees trying to go as far as they possibly can to reassure the right by saying this sort of thing.
Okay. You guys can follow Ramesh. He's all over nationalreview.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Will Cain. Thanks a lot, Ramesh.
You're welcome.